diving deeper into last night's presidential debate with veteran political analyst Linda Schacht. Now, Linda, I'm also curious from the start here. Did you believe there was an overall winner after watching the debate?
No, but I do believe there was an overall loser.
And who would that be?
Joe Biden.
And
Joe
why
Biden
do
had
you
a
think
terrible night.
Yeah.
Debates are about either energizing your base and also about laying to rest any issues that voters, swing voters, might have about you. We know from this morning's analysis that there were some voters who were reminded about Donald Trump and that there's a fact that he does not always base his answers in fact. But what is more compelling this morning is the question for Democrats and for the Biden campaign. Now, it's early. It's only June, almost July. And the Biden campaign can argue, well, we have several months, we can fix this. But the Democrats may also look at it that we have several months and we can fix this in a different way. And that is, do the Democrats are asking themselves, do we need to have someone else at the top of the ticket? Because it may very well be that Joe Biden was the only Democrat that could defeat Donald Trump in 2020. And he may be the only Democrat who could lose to him in 2024.
Linda, I'm curious because you were pointing out all of the analysis this morning, and that analysis coming from the right and the left and different experts. What is your personal take on what we saw last night, specifically from President Biden, with regards to what a lot of people have pointed out to be his fitness to be president, whether it was, the mumbling, sometimes incoherent sentences or seemingly zoning out during some of that debate last night. What's your take on that and how the folks who are in his inner circle might or might not be trying to deal with that?
Well, a couple of things. As I said, what his campaign is having to deal with this morning is whether or not they can reassure people that this was one bad night in June and the election is not until November. What they will be waiting for, and I think as well what the Trump campaign will be waiting for, is to see, did this have an impact on that 6% of voters in 6 swing states that are going to make a difference in this election? One of the things that I thought last night was that, sometimes debates matter and sometimes they don't. But there are 2 debates where the debate itself mattered in an election. One was Jimmy Carter against Gerald Ford, when Gerald Ford made the bad mistake of saying that there was no Soviet dominance of Eastern Europe. And the other was the very first debate where John F. Kennedy looked vital and Nixon looked bad on television. And even though he had good answers, the problem with last night is not just Joe Biden's demeanor and the way that his voice was so weak, but it was also that he wasn't landing the punches that he could have on President Trump in terms of January 6th and other things. And that's what has Democrats worried. Can he campaign? Most Democrats would say to you that he is governing right now. But the question is, can he campaign against Donald Trump and win? And if Democrats believe that democracy is on the ballot, then it's up to them to make a decision, to ask the question. I'm not saying I've come down yet on one side or the other, but to ask the question, do we need to think about someone else on the ticket?
Linda Schacht, thank you so much for your perspective. By the way, the 2 candidates are going to have another debate that is set for September.
Right now, 8:18 is your time. Let's